But yes, it's the girl Bianca, and I wanted to create just a video. I've definitely felt like I've slacked off when it came to making content as far as YouTube goes. Um, yeah, like I would definitely say that when it comes to being consistent with certain videos, I definitely had some obstacles that I was facing. So that contributed to me not producing content. But we're gonna get into that for that video. So
pushing on my buttons with no hesitation. Gas me up, give me motivation. So tell me where we can't pick a destination. Gas me up, give me motivation. Now pushing on my buttons with no hesitation. Gas me up.
yeah, 2024 is about to come to an end, and like I said, I haven't been making content, but I just want to have a little chit chat with you guys, and I figured I would at least end the year with doing something that I genuinely do love, which is communicating with people and really and truly anything when it comes to media. I will definitely say at the end of this year, you guys, I have been on my grind. I have been in my bag. So shout out to everyone who hasn't been, who has, I said hasn't, who has been in their bag and will be in their bag 2025. But this year taught me so much about myself, and really and truly, it helps me refocus my mind on certain things and what I really need to be paying attention to. So I thought I'd just have a little chit chat with you guys and like talking to you guys about that. So first and foremost, let's start off with why I stopped producing content. So I really stopped producing content when I stopped producing content when I was going through quite a few things earlier in the year, such as I had to switch jobs. I also just lost some people that was really, really close to me. But it wasn't really, I didn't really stop producing content because of those sole reasons. A lot of the reasons why I stopped producing content too is because I'm a heady person, and I'm very critical, and I'm a perfectionist at heart. And if it doesn't look a certain way, if the aesthetic is in a certain way, if the vibe is in a certain way, then I genuinely just don't want to post it. And I definitely know that there's some people out there who can relate, who really wants to make content, but is hesitant to produce or put out that work because they're so hesitant of what they may look like, what the aesthetic might look like, what they might sound like, or even if they feel like, they're going to be talking nonsense. For that, I would like to say, definitely just take it one step at a time. Don't feel like you have to produce video after video each week, though you should be on a consistent basis where you do at least post like every 2 weeks or at least once a month, or find a consistent rate so that way you can maintain that, because that's the only way that you're really going to accumulate more viewers and really people are going to find out about you. But I would say, like, definitely don't make social media rush you. That's what I would say, because everybody has their own timing to shine, and everybody has their own moment when it comes to producing content. And to be honest with you, once you find your niche, and once you find what audience or who you're trying to talk to, I promise you that it will flow smoother. But like I said, I was just very much a perfectionist, you guys. Everything just needed to be a certain way, and even down to like my weight as well. My weight was fluctuating so much that I would feel embarrassed sometimes to be on camera. But I realized that shouldn't be the case, because at the end of the day, I'm human, and everyone has moments where things just doesn't go the way as planned. But you have to learn how to fight through it, maneuver through it, and your world can't just stop because of those things. And I recently found myself, not recently, but in the past, I found myself really and truly just stopping myself from doing the things that I needed to do because of how I felt. And I'm an emotional person, you guys. Before, I never used to claim it, but I'm not gonna lie, I am the type that cries when movies happen and all that kind of stuff. But I had to learn this year that I can't allow my emotions stop me from becoming who I need to be. And I realized how much my emotions and how much me being in my head so much just prohibited me from excelling forth, because I have so much potential and I have so much I would like to do. You know what I mean? So really and truly, that's why I stopped making content, because I really was just in my head, and I just figured I needed to have the best hairstyle, and I needed to be at least a size 0 to be on camera, or I really just needed to be in like the most top notch place so that way things could like go out. And one thing I realized with being in media, people like to grow with you. You know what I mean? So they like to see you come from somewhere and then go up. And that doesn't mean you have to be like in this dirt poor place and then you come up and you become something. No, sometimes if you're right now it's pretty decent, or if you have a nice place, then so what? No matter what beginning looks like for you, just start. That's the point I'm trying to make. No matter what it is, no matter where you are, because what's going to happen is you're only going to get better. That's the only thing that's going to happen. And it took me a while to realize that I'll only get better. I thought that I just had to start at being the best. I had to look the best. I had to sound the best. But then it's like there's no growth there. And there's no connectivity when it comes to your audience, because they can't really see you grow. They just see you, oh, this is a girl that lives in a nice apartment, whatnot. You know what I mean? They don't really know the depth to her. They don't see her grow and actually be like, oh, well, I've been with her since day one. She used to do this or she used to do that, you know? And once I realized that people do like that, I started to step out of my shell a lot more. So now I do a lot of writing right now on the side. So even though I don't make as much video content, I have been in my writing bag this year. So kudos to me. I have been in my writing bag this year, and I've been really trying to produce a lot of writing content. So that's one way I've really and truly been staying consistent. As far as after producing content goes, I've also just been MIA. Have been off social media because social media is so toxic, you guys. It truly is toxic. And don't get me wrong, it's fun and it's nice to see what people that you've experienced life with is doing. But sometimes that can be mentally prohibiting, because in your mind, because what social media does, it paints you a picture, and sometimes that picture that is painted makes you internally feel, this is where I need to be, this is where I should be, I'm not even there yet, so I'm failing, which isn't true. That doesn't mean you're failing just because you're not where that person is or doing what that person is doing. That doesn't mean that wouldn't come for you. That just means that that's not the right time. And I feel like that was a big lesson of 2024 for me, realizing that no matter what's meant for me will be there for me when it's time. Just because it's there for someone earlier does not mean that you're not going to ever get it. It just means that you have to wait a little bit more and that it's on its way. And sometimes something great takes a certain amount of time to fester and become that great thing. And sometimes you probably don't receive the things that you're wanting to get because there's so much growth within yourself that you need to do that you don't realize. And sometimes when you ignite that growth, it's honestly when those things start to attract and they start to come your way. And really, I did a lot of tapping in this year when it came to that. Really and truly just been falling in love with myself, and I've been loving it. You guys, I feel like when you love yourself, it is the best feeling in the world. And it's crazy because I used to hear people say it on videos, and I just be like, I mean, I love myself, but like what do you mean, like, love myself? Like, you see what I'm saying? It was just, it was, to me, I wasn't tapping into it like how everybody else was tapping into it until I actually did it. Until I started doing things that I really like to do, until I started eating at places I wanted to go. Because most of the times when I was around friends or just family, I would most of the time never choose a place. I would just let that person choose a place to eat or an activity we would do or whatever was going on fun-wise. I would let them choose and I would just go along with it. And I realized 2024 made me realize that it's so liberating. It's so liberating to do something for you, you know. And I fell in love with myself, even though I knew what I liked a little bit and what I didn't like. When I really was in that moment of isolation, of really figuring out who Bianca is and really figuring out what I need to be doing in this lifetime, I fell in love with a deeper side of me that I didn't even know existed, you know. And I realized how particular I really and truly was. I wasn't before because, like I said, I would let everybody else choose until I started choosing for myself and realized that, man, like, I am really picky. I am really picky when it comes to my time, when it comes to what I eat, when it comes to who I'm around. And really and truly the values that I commit to are different than most, you know? So that's one thing I would say 2024 really taught me. 2024 really, really and truly taught me the true nature of loving yourself, and that it's really and truly okay to be alone. And sometimes there's so much beauty in being alone. There really is. And I used to think that it was all like a facade of people saying that, oh, there's beauty in being alone and whatnot. But until you actually experience it, you realize it. There's so much freedom. I understand that there's some people out there right now that's like, oh, I want a boyfriend, or oh, I want a girlfriend, or oh, I really want to have a companion to start this life off with and really have someone to kick it off, or oh, my friends are engaged, or my friends are dating this person for a very long time. I mean, so what? Great for them. Like, we applaud them and we love that for them, but know that there's beauty in both sides. Yes, there's beauty in having someone by your side so that way you don't have to experience life alone. But at the same time, there's also beauty in being alone itself, because it shows you who you are. It helps you refocus, get yourself together for when that person does come in your life. And really and truly, I feel like your value goes up. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but when you really and truly love yourself and are okay with being by yourself, your value goes up. And I never understood this until I started doing things on my own. And it's crazy. And the reason why your value goes up is because now in your head, you're just like, okay, I've had this kind of peace for so long that now I'm so particular with who comes in my life to disrupt that peace. You see what I'm saying? So now in your life, you're just like, okay, well, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm not stressing over nobody. I'm not sad over anything. I'm just focusing on what I like, my hobbies and my career and whatnot. And when somebody comes around, then you start to interview them, because you're just like, okay, before I was interviewing to see if I would be a good fit for you. But really and truly, you need to be interviewing if that person's even a good fit for yourself. You know, because you are valuable too. As much as they bring a lot to the table, you got to know that you bring a lot to the table too. So 2024 taught me that really and truly love yourself. You bring a lot to the table, and don't be afraid to produce content or do the thing that you said that you were going to do. Don't let your mind hold you back from stuff like that. But 2024 has genuinely been a crazy year altogether, you guys. It really, really has. Down from elections, down to just the different crimes and people dying in the world, and me just staying up with the news and just seeing the different things that are happening. And it's just sad to see how broken the world truly is. You know what I mean? The way it's so broken that I feel like now we're starting to see certain things that are supposed to technically be wrong as right. And I just don't agree with everything that's being said. But I mean, people are entitled to their own opinion. They really, really are. But yeah, my message really and truly coming towards the end of 2024 is self-love is really the best love. Know that it's okay to be alone, because there's strength in being alone. You figure out who you are, your value goes up, and really and truly admire that time now, because there's going to be a time where when your person does come, or when you do have kids, and you're never going to have time alone anymore, because you're going to have to be thinking about other people. So embrace it, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Become the best version of yourself. Do something that you never thought you would do before, and just really shock the world. You know what I mean? And everything else will fall into place. Really and truly, everything would fall into place. Another thing I would say 2024, I lost some people that was really, really close to me. I think between 2023 and 2024, I lost a lot of valuable people. And each person that I lost taught me a valuable lesson. I cherish every person. I'm this person. There's some people that's like, you know what, no, this person isn't in my life anymore, so they can go to hell or forget them. For me, I cherish, no matter if we're good and on, either on good or bad terms, for me, I always cherish every person that comes into my life. I don't hate you, but I just know that I can't associate myself with you the same way anymore. That's just how I see things, because I feel like it's a privilege for me to hate you. That's a lot of energy that I don't really want to give. And for me to hate you, that's just a privilege, because that's a lot of energy. That's unpaid energy, and I'm not liking it. And so, you know, so I would say, like, I cherish all of those moments. The only reason why is because at one point, the people that you beef with and the people that you are not in communication with or you're angry with, at one point it was really, really good. And those were the best moments at that time until things went left, you know? So I always cherish those good parts, but I also mostly cherish the lesson that it taught me, and that lesson taught me who that person was, and letting me know that there are people like that who do exist, and how you need to start thinking because people like that exist, you know? So I'm really, truly grateful for any experience, whether that's bad or good. But I did lose a good amount of people between last year and this year. And all it did is, yes, it made me sad because I don't like to see things end. But at the same time, it made me so much stronger. It made me so much okay with letting things go. And as much as letting go is hard for me, and was hard for me, and I mean, it kind of still is. It's not fully there yet, but letting go was very, very hard for me in the beginning of 2023, and or even before then, because like I said, I don't like to see things end. I really don't. But once you switch your mindset and you switch your perspective to, if this thing goes, that means it's just making space for something to come in. Once you see that's how it is, then I feel like your perspective of life changed altogether, you know? And now that's what my mindset has been on. If there's something that I really wanted to stay, don't want to stay anymore, I allow that, I release that back to the universe, and I let that person or let that thing go, because I know if it was meant to stay, it would either come back around or it wouldn't have left in the first place. But I don't entirely believe in the saying of, if it was supposed to stay, it would have never left in the first place. Only because as you get older, you realize that sometimes things that are meant for you do need to step out of your presence, so that way it can grow to be a better version of itself, so that way it can come back. You know what I mean? So I do feel like if something that is supposed to be there does eventually leave, I do feel like it leaves to get better. Not leaving you per se, but it leaves so that it can evolve and become a better version of themselves or whatever it is, so that way it can fit the version that you now become. Because you got to think of it. Throughout our lifetime, we become so many different versions of ourselves. And sometimes the reason why we fall out with certain individuals or certain people, it's because we became a version of ourselves that they don't know. And because we become a version of ourselves that people don't really recognize or know, it starts to get confusing to them. You know what I mean? They start to say things like, oh, you've changed, and I'm like, really and truly, I didn't change. I've just evolved. I'm getting older, so my mindset is changing. My values are becoming more specific, and what I stand for is definitely taking a different avenue. It's going from being a neutral player to, no, now I'm a selective player. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I turn into a bad person. It just means that I'm becoming more of who I need to be. And really and truly, no matter what those qualities are, whether they're bad or good, everybody eventually becomes who they need to be. And that's why sometimes we outgrow people. And that's why sometimes there's friction in certain relationships or friendships, because we are no longer the version of who we were in those people's heads. So once we no longer fit that description, that's when things start to go all over the place. And, you know, like, you honestly need to surround yourself with people who are okay with you growing and love you for who you are through the core. Because really and truly, no matter if someone stays in your life for 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 11 years, they have to know that the person that you are is going to continuously evolve, whether you like it or not, because you're only getting older. You are getting older. Your taste is getting more refined. The way you see the world, or the way you see situations, or even how you handle money evolves. I mean, yes, there's some people who still, like, if they aren't good with money and they choose not to educate themselves, will be bad at money. But there's people who were careless with money, and then they learned certain tactics, and then they got older and it was just like, you know what, maybe I should mind my money more. But the truth of the matter is, we're all changing, we're all evolving, you know. And I think friction only really comes about when it comes to friendships and relationships, when we no longer fit the interpretation or the perception of what people already had for us in their mind, you know. And I realize not to really fault people for that anymore, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I'm going to evolve how I'm going to evolve. I'm going to become who I'm going to become. If you're still by my side after my evolution and me figuring things out and whatnot, and you truly was like, you know what, I know to the core you're this person, even though I know you're figuring things out, that's different. But if you can't handle that, then it's also okay too. It really, really is, because all you're doing is making way and making space for someone who can handle that, you know. And it's just 2024 really opened my eyes. Like, when they so I'm 25 in 2024. You know when they say that, like, your frontal lobe really develops when you turn 25? Like, at first I was like, I mean, okay, I guess, but I would say it made me realize so much more about people that I wasn't paying attention to before. And I just think I view situations and friendships a lot differently than I did in the past. Yeah. I just do. But I've learned to be at peace and okay with whatever decision it is. I've learned that at the end of the day, as long as I'm authentically me and I'm genuinely myself, because I know I'm going to make mistakes regardless of what, because we're all going to make mistakes. And to think about it, if you're right now watching this video of me and you're thinking of, or if before you watch this video you were thinking of something that bothered you or is bothering you, or maybe you made a tiny mistake, or maybe you made like a huge mistake, right? And you're thinking, oh my god, I can't believe I made this mistake, and yada yada yada, right? Now mind you, y'all, I'm not with you, so I don't know what you did, but I do want you to know that, like, whatever that mistake is right now, no matter what age you are right now, whether you're in your mid-20s like myself, or whether you're younger, or whether you're older, know that life is a marathon. And even though you might have made a mistake, or whatever mistake you're worrying about right now, know that there is going to be so much more mistakes you still have to make that you don't even realize yet. So you're so worried about that one mistake that you don't even realize that there are going to be more in the future. There is. That's just how it is. You don't just make one mistake and then moving forward you make no more mistakes. That's not how growth works. That's not how learning things work. You know what I mean? So you might be so sad over a decision you made towards someone, or be sad towards a decision you made just in general regarding something important to you, and you're thinking it's the end of the world. But sweetheart, trust and believe it's not the end of the world, because there's still so much mistakes you have to make, and there's still so much more people that's a part of your story that you haven't even met yet, you know. And once I realized that, I was like, damn, like sometimes I really overthink on certain situations, and I'm like, you know what, there is so much more people that I need to meet, and this is not just it. Like, there's gonna be more people. There is more people. This world is so big, you know. And once you see things from that perspective, I generally believe, like, you give your mind the permission to have grace for yourself and realize that you're not meant to be perfect. but also know to grow from those situations, because it really does affect you when you don't grow from those situations. Because when you don't grow from those situations, then you learn nothing, and then you're gonna keep repeating those things. You just are, that's just how it works. That's just how life is. And I've had to learn to grow from my mistakes and know not to dwell on them as much, and know that I have a genuine heart. And because I have a genuine heart, that it's gonna affect me. It will. It's gonna affect me, but that just makes me stronger. And that doesn't mean the world is over. That doesn't mean I jeopardize anything. Because trust and believe, if those people are meant to be in your life, if that job is meant to be in your life, if that opportunity or whatever it is meant to be your life, no matter what you did, I promise you, it's going to come back around. It always does. Maybe not in your timing, but in God's timing, for sure. In God's timing, for sure. And you just have to trust that and keep riding the wave. And once you realize that the more you ride the wave, the calmer the sea gets, and you reach to where you need to be, you realize that things aren't so bad. It really, really isn't. Think about the stuff you're experiencing now and realize that what you're going through or what you may have right now, somebody's doing it 10 times worse. That doesn't mean that you should justify what you're going through right now and that it's not that big of a deal. But just look for the beauty in those moments, because every bad moment has a beauty part to it. You just have to look for it, And don't let it change you. That's another thing I learned this year. Don't let bad situations change who you are to your core. I've seen that happen. That didn't happen to me, but I've seen that happen to some other people that I was surrounding myself with. And I've noticed just they went through some really deep traumatic situations. And rightfully so, it bothered them and hurt their feelings. And like I said, everyone processes certain things differently, but I just don't think it should change who you are to your core. Some people can't help it. That's just who they are. But it was just sad knowing those people personally and seeing them do a whole character switch because of those circumstances. And yeah, it was just sad. But like I said, don't let situations change who you are, because situations are gonna happen. They are. Just because a situation does it mean you stop pursuing your dreams? Just because a situation happens, does it mean you stop aiming for your goals? Just because a situation happens, that means you stop working out, you stop going to work, you stop doing what's best for you? No, that's not how that works. You realize situations happen, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you grab a glass of water or whatever your preference of drink or food is, you pray about it, and you get back on that horse and you continue to go. That's what you do. Because believe it or not, and the saddest truth of it all is, time doesn't wait for nobody, and the world keeps going. No matter if you're depressed for a week, month, or whatever, the world is going to keep spinning with or without you, whether you like it or not. And that is something I really learned hard in when I was like high school. Granted, I shouldn't have been worrying about much in high school, but one thing I learned, no matter what I was feeling, the world was still going on without me. And you have to learn to keep picking yourself up no matter what. Because that's just what it's about. Only the ones who don't want to pick themselves up after things happen are the ones that are defeated. But the ones who want to win, look life in the face and be like, listen to me, okay? This is my show. So if I get knocked down, I'm going to be back up, okay? I'm going to be back up. It might take me a minute, but I'm going to be on that horse, goddammit, okay? So you just have to see situations. You have to see situations like that, because life is going to test you. Life is going to test you and test you and test you and test you. That's just really it. And the thing about it is, it's not like school where you can study for it before you take it and then envision the outcome. Sometimes you have to do it over and over and over again to finally learn. Sometimes you have to get rejected over and over and over again to realize that maybe there's something I'm doing wrong, or maybe this opportunity just isn't for me. Sometimes you got to get hurt over and over and over again from that one lover to realize maybe it's finally time to let go. Maybe that person does love me but doesn't know how to love me properly. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you stay. That means you did what you did, as you gave your part, you said your piece, you expressed how you feel. But now maybe it's time to move on and allow them space to grow so they know how to treat you properly, or you find someone else, you know? But trust and believe anything that's happening in your life right now, any path that you feel like you're on right now, you are not behind. You're not wasting your time. Any small step towards what you need to get done is a step forward regardless. You know what I mean? And know that everybody has their own time. And I know social media and I know life can make you feel like everybody's doing the same thing and winning at the same time. But really and truly, it's a facade. There's a lot of people out there in the world, a lot. And yes, there was quite a few in your world, so you think the whole world is doing that. But if you really sit back and think of all the people who are doing the same things together and what that number is compared to how many people are in the world, you realize maybe that was just their time. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have your time, because you will. You genuinely will. And I'm not saying to start thinking like that right away. Like, it would be nice, but that takes work. And one thing I've also learned from this year is that healing requires patience. God, healing I can't even say the word. Healing requires patience. As much as you want to be healed tomorrow night, tomorrow morning, it just takes time. You know, it does. And it's one of those things where you have to give yourself grace, you have to be patient, and you have to know that things will happen in its due time. I feel like I've been rambling on for how time is it? It is 4:29. I do gotta get stuff done. But I just wanted to hop on here and really just say this piece, because I feel like just someone needed to hear it, and just really just tap in for a minute, you know, because sometimes life can get so busy with working and saving and trying to figure out each step that you need to do with your life. And sometimes we need to do a little group check and be like, hey, you're okay, or just a reminder that you're on the right path, you're not behind, you're doing everything that you need to do, and your time is coming. Your time is so close. Sometimes you be so worried about where everybody's going and thinking that you're not getting there, that you don't even realize all the things you've accomplished and how close you actually are. Sometimes that heck be on your doorstep, but you don't even be seeing that because you're so worried about everybody else in your rearview mirror. You feel me? So lock in, twin. Lock in. Forget about everybody else. Do what you gotta do. Trust yourself. Give yourself that love. Pick yourself up and become who you need to be. Because the world is waiting for you to become who you need to be. Trust me. But I'm going to let you guys go on that note. Thank you guys for listening to my little TED Talk. I might do some more of these eventually. I don't know. My life has just been so busy, child. Busy. Especially with the holidays. So I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has an amazing New Year's. It's my birthday. But one thing I definitely would say is, don't let nothing, no feeling, no decision, no mistake, no anything stop you or make you feel like you're not deserving. I don't care what you did. You still deserve to win. Because you weren't designed to be perfect. You was designed to be imperfect, grow from it, and become a better version of yourself. And once you realize that, you change the game, twin. But I love you guys. I'm gonna see you guys later. Merry Christmas. Do you guys see my nails? I need to do like a nail cam. But yeah, shout out to my aunt, the nail bed, for doing my nails. Shout out to what is it called? Shades of Hair by Trudy, mi madre. You know, this sewing lasts me like 3 weeks. I'm joking, it's not a sew-in, it's my hair. But no, yeah, these kind of, I've been trying to curl it and keep it like this so it doesn't turn back curly. Other than that though, thank you for listening to me, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
We can't pick a destination. Gas me up, give me motivation now. Pushing on my buttons with no hesitation.